Hello folks, it's Ruth here, and I'm so happy to be back to bring you some more woolly crochet goodness. Today I'm going to be talking mostly about crochet socks. First of all, just some really basic patterns for crochet socks, and then I'd like to address the topic of comfort in crocheting socks. As you probably know, knitting fabric is much different from crochet fabric, and sometimes crochet fabric can feel quite different on the bottom of your foot. And so I just want to throw out some suggestions and alternatives to help with that. So, all right, so let's get into it. If you're new to crochet socks, I have a pattern suggestion for you. These are one of the first set of crocheted socks in my drawer from many years ago. I don't even know how long. These are pretty old. But these are the pattern My First Toe Up Crochet Socks. And they are designed by Ron Strong, who has been in the industry for quite some time. They are done toe up as the pattern states. So I just want to show it to you here. This yarn was dyed by an indie dyer, and it is 75% wool and 25% nylon. So the nylon is there to give it some strength. This is a typical construction sock. Started from the toe, crocheted the foot, real basic heel flap and gusset to the heel, and then the leg, and then there's a crocheted ribbing at the top. These have been in my sock drawer, so they have some creases to them, as you can see. But these are well loved and well worn by me during the winter in the house, as well as in my boots in the wintertime. Very cushy. The main stitch for these socks is called the extended single crochet, and it gives the sock a lot of elasticity. So one of the things in crochet that I've heard is that crochet is far less elastic than knitting, and to that I say it depends on the stitch that you're using, truly. The name of the game is to experiment. And speaking of experimenting, if you want to step it up from a basic sock like this and just add a little texture, one designer that I go to a lot for her crocheted socks is Marta Mitchell of Marta Mitchell Designs. She is in Scotland, and she has several patterns out for different crocheted socks. I think she just came out with one for DK weight sock as well. But anyway, this is her Lyre sock. This is showing you the picture in the lighter yarn, because I did mine in a darker yarn, and sometimes you can't always see the texture, but she does have some texture running up the side of the sock here. So these are mine. I did mine in Snowdownia sock yarn, and this is the Tegid colorway, which is Tegid. And you can see on the sides where my texture is on this. It kind of shows up really nicely in this yarn. Let me just put one on a sock blocker so you can get a better idea. This is also a basic sock. I believe this one's toe up as well. And you just start at the toe, obviously. It's got a heel flap and gusset to it. And this is also done in extended single crochet. So there you have it. That's the Lyre sock by Marta Mitchell Designs. Yeah, she's worth a check out. She's been doing designing now for a couple years and has come up with some really nice patterns. Yeah. So those are kind of dip your toe in the water type socks, just to get you started. The patterns really walk you through the entire process. So, from the beginning to the end, they're very clear. So if you're new to crocheting socks, I highly recommend those too. So in terms of comfort in sock crocheting, sometimes folks find that the extended single crochet stitch is not quite that comfortable on the bottom of their foot. I happen to have pretty solid skin on the bottom of my foot, so I could pretty much wear anything. But sometimes just the structure of the stitch is a problem. So the first kind of suggestion I have to deal with comfort in crochet socks is to switch up the stitch pattern or the stitch type. So if extended single crochet is uncomfortable, you might want to try something like the central single crochet. And I have an example of that here. I started a toe of a sock. It's a different way of doing the single crochet in that you insert your hook into the middle of the stitch rather than the top of the stitch. And it gives a different look altogether to the stitch, which may not be totally apparent here on camera. I'm using Mondim here for these socks. The colorway is number 214. So yeah, and if it just feels different in the hand. The beauty of crochet is that there are a myriad ways of constructing a stitch, and a lot of different ways of inserting your hook into that stitch. So when you have that fabric and you're making the stitch differently, it obviously makes a different texture and a different feel to the bottom of your foot. So what I usually say is, if you come across a new stitch pattern you like to try out, just make a small swatch, stick it in your shoe, and walk around for a while and see if that feels good to you. It seems strange to do that, but that's the only way you're going to really know whether that stitch is a good one for you. The other kind of stitch that's used in socks is working through the back loop. That gives a little texture on the top, and it does change the stitch structure on the back as well, so it feels differently. And then also a different crochet technique called Tunisian crochet changes up the stitch structure a lot as well. So that's another suggestion, making up a little Tunisian crochet swatch and finding out if that's comfortable for you. So yeah, lots of little different options there with the stitch patterning and the feel and texture of the stitch. Another suggestion I have is to try a different way to crochet. So with these socks, obviously, as I've said, they're toe up. They start at the toe and go round and around and round and round until you reach the end. But with the one pair of socks that I'm making right now, these are from Moorit magazine, issue 6. These are called the Syncopate Socks. So, and there's a picture of them right there. You know, like a 2-color sock. But as you can all see already, the direction of the crochet is different. It's top to bottom rather than going around and around. And that also changes the feel of the sock on your foot. So let me just show you mine. So here are mine. So this is top. It's worked back and forth this way rather than going around and around. It changes the direction of the elasticity, of course, and then you put the toe on afterwards, closing up this side of the sock. And I've had these on already and they feel great. I've done mine in Jagger Spun sock yarn in the Pacific colorway, and the blue is chicory colorway. So, but just playing off kind of an aqua theme here, blue and aqua type colors. So yeah, they are totally different from in construction from the toe-up sock, but once again, a different feel on the bottom of your foot. So experimentation is key here. So my next suggestion would be to check your fiber content. Now these are 100% wool socks. The Jagger spun is 100% wool. Usually sock yarns are a combination of wool and nylon, and you can also get a really nice wool silk blend or wool cashmere silk blend. So if nylon is just a bit rough for you, or if that may be the whole thing that you need to do is just switch that up a little bit, switch it over to silk, and the silk will act like nylon to strengthen the socks, and there you have it. And oh, a wool silk sock is just heaven. So if you haven't tried it, I recommend it. So yeah, get a hold of some of that. And then lastly, what I wanted to say was, if the crochet on the bottom of the sock is just really not working for you, you can use a combination of techniques to make socks. You can knit the bottom and do something crocheted with the rest of the sock. And so I'll show you what I mean. These are the Grannies-in-a-row sock. And I'm just going to slip one on the sock blocker here. So these are done in West Yorkshire spinners, 4-ply. They're sock yarn. This is the peacock colorway at 851. So as you can see, what I've done here is there's a knitted cuff. There are crochet granny squares here. And then the rest of the sock is knitted. So if granny squares are not your jam, and they're not everybody's jam, let me tell you, you can switch this up to a different stitch pattern, and you can make the leg as long as you want with that stitch pattern. Crochet is lovely for, for lace patterns. So you can, the sky's the limit. You can go and look at a lace crochet pattern book, pick out a nice lace, and work that into this area here. And so this is Grannies-in-a-row socks by Jen Yard. I just wanted to make sure I gave the proper credit there. And these were a lot of fun to crochet and knit. I mean, it combines both of my loves of knitting and crochet in one project. So, and they look great, they feel great, and they get a lot of wear. So yeah, so combined techniques is another way to increase your comfort in making crocheted socks. I wanted to also say, if you have any crochet questions that have been nagging at you, or just a snag you come across in a pattern or something, leave a question down below, and we'll see if we can find you an answer to that question. So that's going to be it for me today. I want to wish you happy knitting and happy crochet, and take care until we speak next time. Bye-bye.